It's board game vibe time yet again, and today we're looking at Clans, a game from 2002, designed for 2 to 4 players, and it's by Leo Colavini. On Board Game Geek, this game has a rating of 6.6, which I think is very underappreciated to me. It's a much more interesting game. I think my rating's about 8.2 or something, if we're going to one significant figure, but I just want to show it to you, so if you do see it, maybe at a shelf at the back end of a board game shop where they haven't churned through their stock and it's still there, highly recommend picking it up. So what do you get? Well, you obviously get a very nice lid. It's not a large particular game. You also get some nice instructions, which are nice and clear and concise and don't take forever, so I recommend these. Going through here, there's basically, we'll get through the game. The game itself is an abstract, but it's a bit of theme, but I like it. You're also given these tokens, which are placed here, which is sort of give you the player turn. So essentially, there are only a set number of turns. Whilst 2 to 4 players, there are 5 scoring pieces. We'll get to that, because essentially, in terms of the scoring, the player's color is unknown to everyone else. So instead, you're given these tokens, which are face down, but face up have the particular colors, and which you'll find about a quarter of the way through the game, essentially that you will know who's what color. And then the best thing, of course, is the pieces that come with it. And there are these lovely huts, and they're very tactile and lovely. Never seen them in another game feature. It's really quite nice, but let's set up the game and we'll see what happens. Okay, we'll slow it down here. If you don't notice, the game is made up of 60 little huts in the 5 different colors, and the board is broken up into these larger regions by little rivers here. So there are 12 regions on the board, and the idea is you have one of each color of a hut in each particular main region. So this gives a nice homogeneity, a nice mix of the startup position. Takes a little while to set up. So let's randomly allocate the huts now. And of course, there's the last bit where you invariably need to check. So for example, I've got a matching colors there. So there's a little bit of setup, but that comes with practice. And there we are. So how do you play the game? So we now get to the core bit of the game, which is the bit I like, because essentially there is only one kind of move in this game. You take a village, a hut, I should say, and you move it to an adjoining territory. And it could be anywhere you like. The lakes themselves cannot be touched. So essentially, that is my turn. And then the next player's turn. So I, of course, have the secret hidden color of green, so I'm trying to maximize green, and you need to know the scoring to maximize it. But the actual mechanic is fairly straightforward. You can move any hut. Now, you can't move a hut into an empty space. So essentially, the huts are consolidating. And when it gets to the point where, I'll move this one here, for example, this one away, a grouping is isolated, there's no way to connect it. We consider that to be a village, and it's scored. And how it's scored is you count the number of villages in that area, and that's the score. So yellow will get 4, green will get 4, and blue, even though it's got 2 huts there, will only get 4. And the person who founds it takes the token, and they'll keep that for the end of the game, scoring 1 point. Now, the interesting thing, of course, is You get a bonus if, I guess, there's the priority area gets a 1 and 2 points here. But if I was to found that particular village during Epoch 1, and it's the rock area there, that'd be worth 0. So there's a bit of strategy. There's 2 bits of strategy, actually. One, getting villages of groups of the other players so they lose the ability to use those pieces elsewhere, and then sort of guiding them if none of your huts are in that area, making sure they don't get the bonus and preferably don't get 0 points. What makes this game very interesting is if the scoring is such that, but if there's one of each color, so say we had black, green, yellow, blue, and red. If there's one of each color, any instance where the thing goes into strife, and so essentially we lose one hut, all the ones are gone. So in this case, the green would get a value of 2 and everyone else is taken off the board. So it's that really interesting balance of trying to make sure you've only got one guy in a large group, because that maximizes your scoring. But if every village is represented in that area, your guy's eliminated. And we keep going. We go through the different scoring rounds. It's a nice game of 30 to 40 minutes, and that's essentially the slightly extended board game vibe.